See some late night Dragon Warrior Randomizer fans in chat already. That's awesome. Here we go, guys. Let's do it.
And go through this opening spiel. Luigi and looks like a fighter.
Ooh.
Got the double key start.
Yep, and they'll be checking for spells and checking their stats, mostly for the strength score. So, JJ, well, it is a double key start, so I think one of the things you're hoping for is that early grind sometimes in the treasury.
Yeah, it's worth taking a peek just to see what you might be able to do with it. I'd just save immediately and just try things out.
Yeah, so both runners did that. They went back into the throne room to save, and by doing so, they also are further along in the gold glitch status, and we have a magic key in the treasury here. So
yeah, that's great too.
But no gold that I've noticed. So this might be a situation where you might want to restart your game and hold on to that key. Although they did just pick up a key, so you can see Captain Green is farming that. I think if you opened up those chests a little bit of a different order, you could end up with 6 keys by farming the key chest. But here we are in the overworld. I see a big swamp to the north and not a whole lot of towns and caves. So we're going to be looking for Zone 0 enemies until they get off the ground here. Slime is the weakest enemy. Magidrake, he could probably go after this Magidrake at strength 15. It's going to be close, having no way to heal yourself. Let's see if you can outlast him here for a quick level up. Looks like BentGlassTube, did he reset his game entirely and then he went and reopened all the chests, or unless he exited and came back in.
I didn't think I saw anything worth trying to come back to multiply.
But he's going to use that extra key right now to check out what's in the basement. I'm not sure if that means he has any keys remaining after he's done with this. Because they have no gold with which to purchase more keys, although he could go ahead and reset his game if he doesn't like what's back here. And it's going to be Swamp South, so if they did have the outside spell early on, they could take a trip over and see what's on the other side. But meanwhile, Captaingreen7 is still fighting more monsters right around the castle. And some of them are running away from him already because of the high strength score to start. This is infuriating when you're just trying to get to the next level and they just constantly run away from you here. He's still at level 1, just wants one of these slimes to stick around so he can get to level 2. He's 1 experience point away.
Oh, that's frustrating.
It looks like BentGlassTube might be trying to look for some maps to try and figure out which cave this is, perhaps. I think he figured it out, and he's going to reset his game and hold on to that key. I believe he's going to have a key in his items now.
The level on Captain Green's side here.
We have an early town here for Captain Green, and coal is pretty much the town that you want to find because you don't need any gold here to do something useful. There's a search spot right here south of coal, and we have Erdrick's armor.
Oh, that's ridiculously good start right there. That's about the best thing you can hope for to find at level 2.
And that is the reason why you check and see which town it is, even if you have no gold. He does have 10 gold, looking for maybe a bamboo pole, but instead we find Flame Sword is the cheapest weapon in this shop. Doesn't need any armor. He's got the best armor in the game already. So, exploring early here. Another cave. Another cave, did I say? It's another town. Sorry about that. And, not sure what did he pick up for stats, because I'm wondering if he could have taken on that Drakima that he ran away from. Remember, with that Erdrick's armor, he's going to be already defense breaking some of those enemies like Drakimas and Poltergeists here, taking almost no damage. So, and the hurt spell was learned as well, so he should be going after those enemies at this point.
And as Fioron Burgundy's noting in chat, 6 town, his favorite town.
Oh, BentGlassTube unable to defeat the Droll. A valiant effort, but Drolls have surprisingly high hit points sometimes, and just not able to take that one down. But this is actually a pretty quick start with Erdrick's armor available nearby, and the hurt spell at level 2 is actually quite a nice pickup. You can rack up some experience and get these early levels out of the way pretty quickly here. Even the Warlock, you might want to even use the hurt spell here on the Warlock. And look at how little damage they're doing to him because of that armor. So easily able to take down a Warlock now because of the equipment and the spells available. Only 1 power here on this level.
Huge.
Sleep spell now is also useful for a lot of these enemies. So the knight has hurt more. Otherwise, even the knight you could potentially start going after if it didn't have that. Or if it had some weaker ability. You could go with the sleep spell, works about half the time on a knight. And the hurt spell, and hope their Erdrick's armor can withstand a punch or two. You can start taking down some pretty decent enemies already. So we're off to the races.
Yeah, BGT getting punched by that Demon Knight. He's had a little bit of a rougher go here, but he's got a little more knowledge, I guess, if you count the basement. And also has the armor now.
Oh, and a wolf with stop spell, pretty much the perfect enemy to grind on for a little while if you wanted to take a few minutes to do this. The hurt spell or the sleep spell could come in handy against the wolf, and they're punching these things pretty hard as well, up to 33 attack power already on level 4, so this is right in the sweet spot for 40 experience and another level up for Captaingreen7. Some utility spells, including the repel spell, although oftentimes some runners use the repel spell a little early, in my opinion. I think right now he would not want to be repelling enemies such as the wolf or the warlock. You want to be fighting those enemies, so wisely not casting repel just yet, but they do have it. And we have a key.
I'm a big proponent on holding off on repel until later. Even at kind of just mediocre strength and defense, you can be repelling some enemies you really want to fight, even in the end game.
So, oh, okay, he's going to use a torch, so that'll help us out here. It is one of the 2 major dungeons. Why do I not recognize this yet? Which one is it? Is he in the mountain cave and he took a wrong turn?
That I don't know. It looked like swamp to me, but I could be wrong.
Chat is saying this was the grave.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It can't be the tablet cave because they're running into enemies, so... I'm not sure why I'm not recognizing it. I think he just took a turn that's different than what I normally see on the path, so I'm not recognizing it.
He's not
And
in the
BentGlassTube
place.
is stocking up on some items at the item shop, perhaps. Not sure if he had much money to spend there. Passing by the D-Curse character on the way out from the east side.
Yeah, it'd be
And he finds the same exact knight in the same spot with the same spell.
Yeah. It'd be worth kind of hanging out like Captain Green did, taking a wolf down, taking a scorpion down, taking a warlock down, and grinding up some gold to get some herbs before kind of trekking out.
Yeah, because level 6 and 7 are not that far away with experience-wise if you can take down enemies like the wolf, like you mentioned. And you never know, that Heal More spell could be right around the corner as well. And all of a sudden now you can survive long stretches out into the wilderness. But we have Cantlin here as well. Not a whole lot of gold again, but maybe looking for a copper sword, perhaps?
Dancing with the clerk.
Once again, no weapons available. He does spend the money on the small shield, it looked like. So small shield for Captaingreen7. Deciding not to go to the second shop, potentially for the copper sword down there. Just takes the shield and moves on.
So BGT grabbed a couple levels really quick there and got up to level 4.
See, to me, this is still a time in the game when a weapon upgrade would be really valuable. You know, you don't need armor upgrades, obviously. You got the Erdrick's armor. Yeah, if you can, we don't have hurt more yet. Just getting something like a hand axe or a copper sword right now would be very beneficial, but both runners are still weaponless.
Using repel now, which is really, I don't know, like you kind of mentioned, I don't know that I would do that because you're really only going to run into strong enemies at that point.
Well, we can see the stats. He's got 41 defense power, mostly due to the Erdrick's armor that he's got equipped there. With 41 defense power, you are indeed repelling, I believe, enemies as strong as, I don't know, metal scorpions, maybe even wolves, right? I don't know the strength scores exactly, but right in that range, you're going to start repelling those monsters that you kind of want to be fighting right now, especially until you get yourself a better weapon.
Yeah, and just a lot of mincemeat flying around, a lot of crushed cod going with the golems and the blue dragons, and we've seen some fire breath, and we've seen some hurt mores flying around.
Absolutely. There's Wraith Knight here for BentGlassTube. It's just too strong for him right now, even with that Erdrick's armor. Not defense breaking that enemy yet, and we're taking 20 damage at a time. It's not easy to run away from those enemies yet. We're still low agility because we're on the early levels still. So there's quite a few enemies out there still that you don't want to be fighting until you get some equipment upgrades and a few more levels. We got the power walk here for Captaingreen7 on 1 hit point, I believe. Maybe I'm seeing that wrong. I think he did have 1 hit point, but I keep forgetting with Erdrick's armor, one of the benefits is that you gain 1 hit point for every step you take. So by the time he got to his next battle, he had the full complement of 34 hit points. So that's just a great early find in so many ways. He could be walking across these swamps too. It looks like he's like avoiding walking across the swamp as you often do in the early game. Perhaps forgetting that they would take no damage due to the Erdrick's armor.
Yeah, that's something I've done plenty of times. Forgot I had the armor early and just traipse around the boundary.
Now this is nice tactics, using multiple hurt spells on the I'm blanking on this. Druid Lord. This one should be enough to take him down. That's a pretty good amount of experience at this stage of the game.
Yeah.
That'll level him up to 6.
That's probably about the best enemy they can handle right now.
I wonder if he's looking for this wolf. He's been kind of running around in this little area next to the swamp in this desert. I think he had seen this wolf in this spot earlier. So this would be a smart move if he was just to camp out here and just look for this wolf, because this is pretty much the perfect enemy for him to fight right now. And it looks like he's doing exactly that. Unfortunately, the Demon Knight is also here. But if he can get the Wolf and the Druid Lord, that's not so bad of a grind spot for him right now. He can get through a couple of more levels, maybe fish for a heal spell pretty soon. Get himself off the ground. Ooh, and not quite enough gold for the Copper Sword for BGT, but he could get the Club if he wanted to. Club is 60 gold. Decides, I think, to pass on that for now. He's in the town of Rimildar, by the way. He could buy more keys. He's got only the one key right now that he started the game with. He has enough gold right now for 3 keys. If he so chooses to buy more keys, he could then open those 2 doors to see what's in the chest. But instead walks out of town and meets the fire breath of a specter. Manages to survive that. And this is another pretty good enemy if it didn't have this fire breath. Specter's worth a pretty good amount of experience. 2 or 3 hurt spells should do the job. And he does outlast him for 47, so level up for BentGlassTube, while the Demon Knight in this grind zone happens to appear again and take out Captaingreen7.
So we'd mentioned these guys, this is an 0-3 matchup, but neither one of them have faced really any easy opponents at all throughout their 3 weeks. Captaingreen7 has squared off against Tristal week 1, which is obviously a top 5 player. Has been as high, he's been a great finisher in these tournaments. And he's also had the pleasure of facing off against Z-Man and the Eternal Newbie, who played earlier tonight and ran a very good race. Took a victory, I believe. BGT, on the other hand, is squared off against McGrew, the Tie-Dye Guy, and the Hangry Canuck. It's another new runner, but very good. So, going up against some stellar opponents here, not getting the easiest of draws.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I would say probably the only substantially worse draw that I can remember from this is what is his go by? WMD88 maybe, with the perfect gauntlet, the storm of just like the exact most brutal opponents. But yeah, these 2 guys have faced some stiff competition and ended up on the wrong end of those previous races, but they still have a chance to get to that play-in race with a victory here tonight. And so far, it's a fairly close one. We got relatively equivalent equipment. They've each found a handful of towns at this point. Slight experience lead now for Captaingreen7. Compliments of that little desert grind spot that he was in for a few minutes, and now he's gone off to more exploration again. But yeah, so far we got a pretty close race.
They're starting to survive a little longer out into the wilderness, but they don't really have anything game-breaking yet.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that Erdrick's armor really is allowing them to survive so much longer, because they can walk their way to full in between battles. And BGT is going to go for another Spectre, and again he's successful for another 47 experience. And I feel like he's found this little area for his grind because he's right next to this town. He can just pop back in and refill his HP if he so chooses.
Yeah, that's good experience for that Spectre, but dancing with the sleep spell is not the most fun thing to be living on.
Yeah, and it has fire breath, the baby fire breath as well. Erdrick's armor does reduce that damage, which is part of the reason why he survived those 2 battles, but It looks like, again, he sort of was on his way to buy keys and then changed his mind. That's the second time he's done that. Not sure if he's trying to hold on to that gold for a specific purchase he has in mind, but now he's just making the mad dash through the forest, so I don't know. Not totally clear what the plan is there, but...
Got a metal slime over on Captain Green's side here, and right as I say that, it runs away.
They are very finicky, those metal slimes. And this would be a pretty big victory if he can outlast the Rogue Scorpion with a pile of hurt spells as well. I believe that you could also try the sleep spell on them as well. They're not 100% to fall asleep, but hurt spells are enough, and that's 70 experience. So both of our runners have used the intermediate spells that they have in their arsenal pretty well for some pretty nice kills along the way. And this is a level up for BGT. And they are now on the same level, level 7. So what are we bonking through here for Captain Green? Is this Swamp Cave, or he's taking some twists and turns now, so...
My internet's not the greatest, but I'm getting this.
I see it now. He's bonking his way through the mountain cave. Sorry about that.
So that could be big here. Now I'm gonna invite chat to call me out here, but because I've probably missed something by now, but I don't think they've found anything really of note yet.
I can't recall either. I don't think there was much in the treasury that they both raided. And, yeah, nothing in terms of quest items or anything of that nature just yet. The Erdrick's armor was the main find so far. That's a free search spot in Coal. The other two search spots would be the Overworld location or the Hawksness location. I don't think we've seen Hawksness yet. And Cantlin, I don't think either runner bothered to get the coordinates despite being in the town. They don't have any way to heal themselves through that area there, but if you had enough herbs, you could make it.
Well, they're clear now with the armor. They could go back and get it for freezies.
Yeah, that's right. I don't remember if they found that slightly after or slightly before Cantlin, but absolutely. They do have keys. At least, I think Captain Green has keys. I think BentGlassTube maybe still has just the one key.
I don't know if he just bought a few more there, it looked like.
Okay. But it's one of those things you have to keep in mind is that you're going to want to have those coordinates in the back pocket because the token could still be on the search spot. Token could also be on a chest, so it's one of the tricky ones to have not found yet. It's nice to have the armor out of the way, so maybe you don't quite need those coordinates or the princess rescue just yet. But you gotta just keep that in mind for later.
Yeah.
And I'm probably missing all these chests that Captaingreen7 is finding in the mountain cave because it's hard to see while they're wandering around in the dark. It sounds like he got the fighter's ring, so I suppose we could note that. Fighter's ring, unless he has not actually equipped it yet. Apologies, I have not seen, but now he's at another chest and it's gold.
He's got the sword, as pointed out in chat, and by the fact that he just hit that Drakey by 40.
Erdrick's sword bonking around in the mountain cave, that is a heck of a find there. So that gives him a really nice edge, especially since neither runner has the Hurtmore spell yet. So he could use that to his advantage over the next little while to take on some higher value enemies.
Yeah, that's a huge advantage. We just saw BGT kind of feeling his way around a Wraith Knight just a little bit ago, hitting it by 8 and got hit by 20 and then had to run away, and that's as Captain Green starts to explore, those are some enemies that he's going to be able to take down.
And it does get to that far away chest, and it's the fairy water. And he did manage to find all 5 chests, so he casts outside and he's cleared the mountain cave. And he almost got a little problem with the Stone Man there. He had tried to run from the Stone Man instead of using the more common sleep run technique. They did acquire the sleep spell pretty early, and that's one of the best uses. So the Stone Man is very susceptible to sleep, but on these early levels, they're fairly hard to run away from, so you increase your chances of running away by putting them to sleep first. And he realized his mistake right away, and on the second round, he did put it to sleep, and that enabled him to get to that last chest. So we got all sorts of stuff here on his screen. And is this an Axe Knight on the boss tile?
It is, yeah.
So they're just going to need a little bit more help to beat an Axe Knight at this point, but that is a very good potential grind for the future if Hawksness is in any way convenient to get to. And meanwhile, at the same time, what was that cave that Captaingreen7 went into? The Harp Cave, perhaps?
Looked like
Staff
the
Cave?
Jerk. I think the Jerk was behind and Staff Cave was right above.
Oh, so they're both right there. That's easy to remember.
Yeah, so just swing on through when you're ready to dive. You don't have to worry about getting it early.
Captaingreen7's really managed to cover some map here without any healing spells. Really, it feels like he's covered most of it already.
You got a big hit point gain at level 8, looks like, too. So that's gonna help when you're able to walk your max HP up to a sizable amount higher. You're gonna be able to survive a lot longer.
Yeah, notice how the Repel Spear wears off, and immediately he gets a Wraith, which is like a really nice enemy for him right now, and he would have been repelling that if he had used Repel. So
yeah, you're
to
better
me,
off.
sometimes it's nice to just be able to have these nice fights along the way.
You're definitely better off picking up, after a couple hits, 40 to 50 experience on some of these mid-range enemies than just waiting
And
around.
BGT has found the grave. So he's making his way over to the top chests. Being waylaid by a slime in the meanwhile, but here we are. And we have nothing of consequence, followed by some gold. And the dragon scale. So where are all these quest items, guys?
Got a whole bunch of lemons so far.
We full cleared the mountain cave for Captain Green, and BGT now did the top of the grave, and nobody has any quest items. So we're going to find these things in singleton areas like the Stones Cave or the Rimmildar chest, which I think nobody actually opened yet. Did they?
I think the Rimmildar was an herb, if I saw correctly.
Oh, so at least one of them did check that chest. That's good. That's an easy one to forget, especially when you're in that spot where you found it originally early in the game when you only have the one key, and so you decide not to, and he didn't have the gold to buy more keys, so you could easily forget that chest sometimes, but Captaingreen7 going to check out the spike tile. He's got pretty low resources and no healing, but just wants the information. Promptly gets back attacked and actually survives that hit. But he's got no herbs and just hoping for a crit there.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, you're going to want to remember where that is, because that, as soon as you get hurt more, that is a very good grind spot.
Oh, BGT got rocked out of the grave by a Demon Knight.
Oh, he was making his way to the bottom and was unable to get to those chests.
Yeah, I don't think
So
he
that's
even got to
unfortunate.
the middle chest.
Yeah, and as we know, he hasn't been in Mountain Cave, but we know from here that there's probably going to be a quest item down in the bottom reaches of the grave this time. When we haven't seen the town of Garenham yet, there are 3 more chests there, but we're starting to run out of chests already, with no quest items for either player. It's also starting to look more likely that perhaps the token is on a search spot.
Yeah, I'd almost guarantee it at this point. Although I don't know that we've found any cursed belts, have we? I don't know.
I don't believe we have, unless I missed one in the Mountain Cave while we were looking the other way. But even so, it's just there are only so many chests remaining. So now Captain Green is going to be a little bit more capable of getting to these coordinates if he wants to stock up on herbs and make his way over there. Let's see if that's the plan this time.
That sword's already paying big dividends. He was able to get to level 9 much faster, and by
So
that already has hurt more.
Aha, level 9 with hurt more. So the race to level 9, and BGT is only a couple of hundred experience away if he can continue to defeat these monsters such as the specters that he's been finding.
Yeah, he's keeping
Could
up.
be there shortly.
He's keeping up by doing more of a dedicated grind, it looks like, back at that kind of that area, or at least that monster set that he was working on earlier.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the way to go when you just, you don't have much else that you can do if you don't have an ability to heal yourself. If you haven't been able to afford herbs, let's say, and you don't have hurt more, it's just, one of the next best things to do is just try and get another level so that maybe that'll help you. You could learn an important spell, you could gain some stats. So he is going after enemies such as the Rogue Scorpion and the Spectre, and I like it. He's going to get there pretty quickly if he keeps this up. Unfortunately, the sleep spell missed that time. It does work a pretty good amount of the time on the Rogue Scorpion, so that was a good try on his last attempt there, but yeah, if he could have taken down that Rogue Scorpion, that's 70 more experience. He's only 137 away from all important level 9, which has hurt more. Captain Green was very low on keys, apparently, so he just bought a full stock from the key shop in Cantlin. The expensive way, but sometimes the necessary way. I think that was his last key to open the door into that shop, so he's restocked, and now he's going to be checking the second shop, which he didn't on his first go here, and yeah, there's not much he could be looking for now, except for maybe a large shield, or if he wants to make note of where the silver shield is for later. Although they don't have any gold grind available, right? So it's pretty much going to want to find a large shield at some point, and that's going to be it for Captaingreen7, already with the sword and the armor. And he now has found the grave. Remember, he was the one that full cleared the mountain cave already, so once he gets these top chests, he's going to start wondering where the heck these quest items are, because we have not found any of them yet, as far as I know.
Yeah, he's about to. Well, I know for a fact Captain Green didn't have any. I caught it out of it.
And look at the difference here. He can reliably go after the Stone Man with the Erdrick sword, whereas BentGlassTube has a different kind of sword. It's the Copper sword. Substantially weaker. And he just has no shot against enemies like the Stone Man right now. And it's tough to keep up on the experience battle until he finds that sword. And is he in the right place for it? Did BGT just find Mountain Cave? It's hard to tell.
Looks like it.
Geez, with all these towns they've been visiting, you would think that you would want to buy a torch or two just for this reason, but unless he Yeah, does not have the Radiant spell yet, so he's going to try and make his way around. And so far, I've not seen him walk over that stairway that would make me know for sure that it's the mountain cave. And he's going to give up and cast outside. Perhaps that was the tablet cave, because he didn't find any enemies in there. He's going back in, so I think this is the tablet cave. He went right just short way, and he's going right and down and right and down. I think he's found the tablet cave. Oh, but now he has an enemy. So now I'm confused. Meanwhile, Captaingreen7 is going to the bottom levels, and here we go! The first quest item is in the lower levels of the grave. Silver harp acquired by Captaingreen7, and he knows where to trade that in for the Staff of Rain if he so chooses, but right now he just wants to get away from this blue dragon. He does have some herbs to work with, so has a reasonable chance to get to the bottom chest if he can just stop getting bombarded by blue dragons. But with 56 agility, he is managing pretty often now to run from blue dragons and golems. Probably is going to use more herbs. We're getting close to the bottom chest now, and that could easily be another quest item. So it would be good to get down there the first try without dying and having to redive all this way.
Yeah, I would say odds are really good that this has to be the stones.
Yeah, what chests have we not seen yet? I guess we haven't gotten to the end of this tablet cave yet, as far as I know. Do we see the vanilla stones cave yet?
I don't believe so. I think we have those two single chest caves left unturned.
Yeah, has anyone seen the back of Garenham yet? Those would be the only ones that I can think of. But there's a good chance this one here is important. He's 2 steps away, gets away from the golem. And what's it going to be? It's the all-important fairy water. Oh, he gave up the fairy water. I can't believe it. But outside, moving on.
BGT's cruising through Stonemen now too, and he's tightened up this experience lead pretty well.
Is that right? Does BGT have Erdrick's sword now? Yeah, he's in the mountain cave. Okay, so he must have Erdrick's sword. He just now got the fighter's ring. So this is actually still pretty close experience-wise. So one of the things we'll have to watch for is that BGT unfortunately died before he got to the harp in the Garen's grave, which was at the lower levels of the Garen's grave. So oftentimes when that happens to a runner, they will save that for last, and they'll continue to explore and try and find new locations, because diving down into the lower levels of the grave just for 1 or 2.
Yeah, so I don't know what else you really do here. No, I don't. I'm not sure exactly where on the map it was, but I might be booking it towards Harkness to go ahead and take out that Axe Knight, see what's under there. And again, we kind of see the difference in the repel spell being used over here by Captain Green versus BGT's taking out some wraiths. We'll see which one kind of gains experience faster here, because it's about neck and neck right now. Yeah, Fearon, we've got quite a seed going on here. Hurt more sword. I mean, it was a good strength start, so they were able to build levels pretty quickly and got the armor almost immediately. Very good start. Very good seed so far. Captain Green grabbing those big bucks. Ooh, BGT getting bounced. Captain Green's drawn really close to level 10 here. And that'll do it. Still no heal more, so that's one of the big things that we would really like to see right now. Yeah, Garenham has taken the place of Cole for being the missing town. Normally in these seeds, it's always Cole is the one that no one can find and absolutely has to find it. BGT hot on Captain Green's tail here with getting to level 10. BGT is headed to that Axe Knight and Hawksness here. And make good use out of that Hurt More spell, if he can make it there. Wanted to prove me wrong and not use Hurt More immediately. And we've got the token. Looks to me like Captain Green is making his way that way as well, from what I can tell on the map. But it's kind of hard to commit the map to memory here, but I think that's Hawkness. Or not. He takes a free trip back to the castle. Yeah, so ETAP in chat making a good point. We haven't found the tablet cave yet, and we haven't found Garanham yet. There has to be a cave there, so by process of elimination, that's what's down in the basement. So there are 4 chests sitting in Garanham by extension, and the stones have to be there, so it's just a matter of who can track that place down first. And yeah, with the token in Hawkness and the armor in Coal, we do know that odds are not good they're going to be counting out those 52 paces to get the fairy flute, but you never know, it can be helpful in certain circumstances. If the golem's the bodyguard down in the bottom of Charlock, it could come in handy. Captain Green getting a little unlucky there, rolling a 63 on the Hurtmore and not killing the Axe Knight, but he's going to get his token. He's going to have to decide which of his many worthwhile items he's going to drop. And he's going to convert right into a little bit of a grind mode here, which is, well, short-lived, but I think that was a good thought to have there. It's only a few Axe Knights away from getting up to level 11. So it wouldn't shock me if he went back relatively soon, just to grind up until you get heal more to help you finish out this seed. BGT, on the other hand, is almost all. I think he's about 90 experience short of getting up to level 11. So he's done a fantastic job of getting exploration and grinding done at the same time. But you do have to take into account that he had the unlucky misfortune of getting bounced out of the grave early. Captain Green is going just right back into Hawkness to grind up a little experience here. Yeah, that level 11 was a pretty good level there. A couple big boosts. So I think Captain Green's making the right decision to go ahead and just grind this out. Your strength is looking really good for level 11, so that is likely to not be the problem here. Agility does not look great, and we know there's no gold grind. So, now on the flip side of that, I don't know that... We're pretty sure Captain Green's just got the small shield, but I don't know if BGT's taken the time to pick up a shield at all. Captain Green looks like he's going to be going all the way for level 12 here, which I can't say that I blame him. It's just not gonna work out here. Captain Green's gotta get 3 more Axe Knights to get that level, and he's not gonna quite make it, I don't think. Or 2 more, I guess. So we'll see if he can polish this off. Just like that, he leapfrogs BGT and takes back the level lead here. No heal more, though. I'm sure that's what he was looking for. Heal and Radiant are helpful, though. I'm just gonna assume that they both did equip their fighters' rings and scales as well. So we're starting to look pretty well rounded. That's really good strength on Captain Green's side. We need heal more, so I hope this isn't one of those seeds where everything gets held up until we can get heal more, even though the stats might look good. Well, there we go. So Captain Green is the first to make his way into Garenham and get to the last of these 4 chests. If the NPCs will stay out of his way. And there's our stones in that upper right. So as we mentioned earlier, it looks like up to NG is having technical difficulties in the area he's in. So it's going to be back down to just yours truly, unfortunately for everyone in the room. But the Staff of Rain and the Rainbow Drop are pretty non-consequential here. They're just sitting right by Charlock whenever he wants them. So there's no reason to really go out of his way to get them right now. Other than that, he's got everything he really needs. BGT is also, he's down in the grave right now picking up the harp in just a minute. Oh, he runs into that Demon Knight in basically the same spot and gets slept and wrecked. Oh my gosh, that is terrible. Has to listen to the king say, "Death should not have taken thee," and he's got to be thinking, "You're telling me, man." Yeah, Demon Knights are getting the MVP for this seed, man. That is pretty much. I would have to look back, but that looked like almost the exact same square he got bounced on the first time. So Captain Green picking the poison he knows and just going right back to the Axe Knight and Hawkness here. No reason to stray, really. Yeah, E-Tap's got it right. Demon Knights shouldn't have taken the Dragon Lord 2 breath, but whatever, man. Whatever, King. Looks like BGT has just about got his way to level 12, which is a massive gain of the heal spell at the very least. Yeah, sneaking in an extra spike tile down in the grave, so we'll see. Let's see if we can sneak by it this time around. Captain Green's lead is expanding quickly. Takes a death here, but he was out of resources, so he's going to have to reset. Keep it on coming. But I'm going to guess, though, I haven't... my internet's doing a little strobe light effect itself, but I'm going to guess we did not get Heal More on level 13. BGT having a rough go of it with a blue dragon now in the grave, and that is just brutal. It's gotta be very tempting to want to just slap the king for this one. Give him the armor. Send him in there. And then the second guessing comes into play for BGT that without having Garenham found, you're not 100% sure you even have to be doing this. So what are we looking for stats? Strength to me is looking good, but MP is really low. Looks like is that 8 heal mores? That's no good for anybody. HP is low. Defense is alright. So we're going to be looking for some big gains in hit points and magic points here once he takes down this next couple Axe Knights. BGT's got the cave path memorized now from having to do it 3 times in a row due to some awful luck with the RNG. Here we go with 14. It's another Humor, but that's not going to cut it. Yeah, we're still sitting low. We're up to where it's going to be an average of 12 damage, so you're going to need about 14 attacks for that. So we're about 3-4 heal mores before we start to feel safe about diving here. That's assuming we get, some more HP in there too. And all of it's a moot point until we get heal more. It is something too, if you're just getting wrecked by the same few enemies in the same few places, go get a couple more levels. You're gonna need them either way. He does make it through that blue dragon, PGT does, but if he gets bounced again, it'd be a good call just to go get some levels before heading back in there. You're gonna need to grind a little bit. You can really tell from the stats you have, you're low in too many different areas, so it's not going to hurt too much. You just want to be making progress one way or another. But it's rotten luck so far for him, trying to get through this grave. Looks like he did get through and get the harp though. Hard to tell where he's at here, but I'm going to take chat's word on it. Meanwhile, Captain Green is racking up the experience here. Headed up to 7,500 is the next benchmark we need. BGT doesn't know it yet, but he's about to find himself a shiny flask of fairy water, which may drive him to find his own shiny flask hanging around his house. Yeah, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. He's getting really close. He should be able to get up to level 15 before the resources run completely dry. Yeah, Head him first. There we go. Got lucky with the 58 doing the job there to get the next level. Oh, there it is. So we've got Healmore, and it looked like he got 2 more Healmores. So we're up to 11 Healmores. We've got enough HP to survive 2 Dragon Breaths, no matter what. Defense looks pretty solid. We're gonna still be doing that average of 12 per attack. It'd be tempting to give it a go here. And we got BGT finds the stones, so he's in Garanam. He's got everything he needs now. Just gonna need to grind a few levels.
All right,
Hey.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you are. How's it going?
Oh my gosh, I just had internet Armageddon over here. That was horrific.
Oh,
Called up, they said the whole area was down for a while, so oh well. So what did I miss? Looks like a lot more quest items are in stock now here.
yeah, so the stones were in Garanam. So we knew that token was in Hawkness. I'm not exactly sure when exactly it got bounced here. But of course, Silver Harp BGT did get back down to do that, but he got wrecked a few times in the old grave before he finally got the harp. Now they've both rounded out all the items they need, but Captain Green's grinded about everything he needs. He's gonna, I guess, go ahead and get 1 more level because it's a little borderline. But you can kind of take a look at the stats there and see what you make of them.
Yeah, it looks like Captain Green managed to extend the slight experience lead he had when I was booted, and he's a few levels ahead now, and he's found the Axe Knight in Hawksness. Let's see now, 132 attack power for just 88 magic, huh? They're a little low on magic, it sounds like. That is a little too weak. Yeah, it's really close though. And unfortunately, they only have the small shield. Otherwise, they would have really good defense. BentGlassTube doesn't even have a shield, it looks like. So
Yeah, I wouldn't swear by that because the tracker's pretty inexperienced tonight. But I did not see him pick one up. He very well could have at any point, but I haven't confirmed it.
a large shield you're talking about? Because there was no gold grind available for a silver shield, as far as I remember.
Yeah, I don't know that we saw a large shield. I think if anything, BGT's got a small shield, just like Captain Green. But yeah, the other thing you missed was BGT getting bounced by a couple Knucklehead Blue Dragons and Demon Knights.
Where was that, in the grave?
Yeah, middle of the grave, right when he's about to get the harp.
But yeah, besides this shield situation, they got all the quest items now. We know the Staff Cave and the Rainbow Drop Cave are right next to Sharlock, so no hurry on that. BGT still needs heal more, I guess. But that will come with as part of the grind.
Yeah, so you mentioned the low magic points. 15 brought them 16 magic points. They were looking super low until he just got heal more and 16 magic points to make this even a little debatable to maybe even have dove on this level.
Yeah, they just don't have any wiggle room with the hit points either, so it seems like you're about a turn short if you go right now with Captain Green's stats. And a little low on that defense power as well. But it's not to say that it can't be done. You know, the Dragon Lord has a range of possible hit point totals, so if he happens to be closer to 150 on the low side, and you get some good rolls on your attacks. It's possible that it could be done at 15, but I think it's prudent for him to go ahead and get this next level. The Axe Knight's such a quick and easy grind that if he can just get this next level quickly. He's out of resources now, and he's like 2 Axe Knights away. But if he can manage it before he dies, then we'll be able to see if it's go time.
Yeah, he should be able to two-shot this, maybe. He got some low rolls there, but then capped it off with a big boy shot to get the level.
Nice. Looking for some power mostly. Let's see. No power! Woo! That was rough. So we got a little bit more wiggle room on the hit points, but not enough to really count on any double attacks. We have an additional, not even an additional heal more, it's just a few more magic points. So yeah, I think we're going to 17. It is unfortunate. And here's the thing, like if the seed was different and they had the silver shield, or if he could have just found a large shield, you would start defense breaking some of those Sharlock enemies and consider an early dive. But the way it stands now, I think you're probably better off just with that Axe Knight, because it is just so fast and efficient, and it's nearby.
Yeah, it's a tough call. The no large shield, and yeah, to answer Furon, no, I don't think that we did see a large shield anywhere. Don't quote me on that, but I don't believe that we saw any. At least I didn't see any. We'll probably get somebody to confirm or deny that in the coming hours or days here, but
I'm not convinced that I have the most up-to-date chat, unfortunately. My system has gone haywire with this outage, but I am seeing the streams. Looks like Captain Green, what just happened? Is he just buying some items? Is he preparing for a dive here? I wonder what he liked about that level up. That means that this is go time when the last one was not. I'm not totally sure, but it looks like he's ready to go.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
He's already got the fighter's ring, so it's not like you can count on finding the fighter's ring in the treasury to give you a little boost. Yeah, we're just sitting here at 132 attack power, still same attack power as we had last level. And maybe it just feels like time is ticking and it's time to give it a shot. It's really close. If Sharlock's really friendly and you don't have to burn any resources, there's a chance. But low defense power means it's tough to get through Dragon Lord 1 without taking some damage. It's hard to, right now at 84 defense, you could take 49 damage from a physical from DL2. It's really close. Let's see if he goes straight over to Sharlock now after collecting the quest items, or the staff and the drop. And he's had that fairy water just for this purpose, so that you can do your final approach to Sharlock without having to cast Repel.
Yeah, if he tries this and it doesn't work out, he's given BGT an awful shot, because as you mentioned, that an Axe Knight's pretty quick. Pretty quick grind.
Yeah, and BGT he's got nothing left to do unless unless, like we said, they want to hunt for a better shield or whatever, but I don't think either player has that in mind anymore. They're just ready to go after the Dragon Lord. So BGT right now is 3,000 experience, about 4,000 experience behind. 5,000. Wow, that widened quickly. So you figure to make up 5,000 experience points on Axe Knights, you could probably kill one every 20 or 25 seconds, except you are going to have to go back and heal at some point.
Yeah, especially with he's still got 2 levels to go before he gets his heal more, so that's going to make it very difficult to speed through those Axe Knights.
Yeah, it's almost 40 Axe Knight skills that he's going to need. So it seems to me like it could be a good 15 minutes of grinding before he gets to level 16. That would be, you know, a couple of failed dives probably. So if Captain Green goes in and this dive doesn't work, that could be 5 or 6 minutes lost. So yeah, things start to tighten up pretty quickly when that happens. This is borderline. And unfortunately, there's not really very many enemies that he can pick off easily if he wanted to fight his way to 17 in here. Because of that lack of a shield.
Yeah, you're right.
If he had a better shield, he could start fighting green dragons and werewolves and those kind of things, trying to sort of make progress towards 17 while he's doing this. But now we have red dragons in here. Fortunately, they have stop spell, but
wow, that's good.
yeah, because otherwise it's should be running a little easier than this at 101 agility points, but sometimes those red dragons get stubborn.
Yeah, that's a high percentage stop spell too. I don't know that I guess I hadn't really paid attention. I don't know that we saw the fun police before right there.
Yeah, I think we would have, I feel like we would have noticed the stop spell before, but yeah, with 101 agility, he does have a very good chance of making it down there with all his magic, because the run chances are very high right now with being as fast as he is. So he's through that first zone. This floor and a couple of floors below this one are a second zone that could have a totally different enemy set. Now we're seeing green dragons. They're pretty easy to run from. Golems pack a punch still, but they are pretty easy to run from as well. So making quick work of the middle zone. And in between encounters, of course, with Erdrick's Armor, you try and heal walk your way back up to your maximum as well. So far he has not had to cast any heal mores. I think he still has some herbs.
And herbed up there, I think.
Yeah. I think a good rule of thumb is if you get below the halfway point of your max HP, I think it's a good time to use an herb in Charlock, because you know, you don't want to be running into the worst enemy while you're still really low, and then that's when you have to end up burning a heal more because you happen to run into a red dragon when you're still at 50 hit points. So
right.
I'd say, so yeah, if you're at like 130 max, if you hit 65, it's a good time to use an herb. If you're at 107 like they are now, maybe in the low 50s, might be a good time to use an herb. But
he's getting a pretty rough encounter right there for a few steps, but he's cleared up now.
I've seen all the dragons here in Charlock, but he's on the penultimate floor. Just a short walk to the final stairway here. And we have armored knights. They can be tough to run from, and they have sleep.
Yeah, that is not good.
Well, he wakes up here. Ooh, and he does get away on the second try. It's good to have good agility when you find red enemies that have sleep, that is for sure.
There we go. There's the Archfiend of this game.
We're not sure if they have any sort of stop spell resistance. I don't know if anyone's tried it on the Armored Knight, but oftentimes, because they're one of the toughest enemies in the game, oftentimes they will have a decent amount of resistance to stop spell.
Oh, he got double run block there. He gets away though, so he dodged that one.
And wisely uses that herb like we just talked about, just in case you run into another Armored Knight. You don't want to just take a step and run into another one when you're still in the 40s.
Right.
So now he's almost there. What is the mini boss?
Anything but the Armored Knight has to be one.
Yeah, he's gonna need something where he doesn't have to burn more than 3 MP on the fight. Let's see what he can do here after using an herb.
Oh, buddy, that's not a good sign. Let's see.
That is the boss of the...
Oh, he got it.
Oh, good use of stop spell. That's why you have those 3 extra MP that he gained on level 16. Previously, I think they had 88 max MP.
Well, that's what he was.
Just that little extra gives him the stop spell on the Armored Knight. So far, so good. Nicely done.
Ooh,
Oh no! But no, if he uses another one, oh, and there goes a heal more, and it didn't even work this time. So they have some resistance. Oh, and he's a heal more down now because of that decision. I think this fight now is very unlikely to succeed.
Yeah, he's gonna need some rolls now. He's gonna need some rolls. I can't see that status screen fast enough. I'm hoping he's got the fighter's ring on though. Didn't just overlook it. It's a good first swing. Might as well use the couple heals he's got.
Well, I'll tell you what, if we see any 7s against Dragon Lord 2, we'll know that he forgot to put on the fighter's ring. So hopefully he can get through DL1 with full HP, but unfortunately getting the hurt more spam. So this is a very challenging. You need to keep the hurt more strats in the back of your mind when this happens.
14.
Let's see if he figures it out. Oh, that's a really good start.
And a good low physical there. There's a 15. A couple good swings.
Unfortunately, no double attack following up on that low physical.
Wow, 40. It's up to 43 on 3 swings.
Those are 3 really good swings. Let's see what happens. It's getting a chance. There's an 8. That might be his minimum, depending.
So we're at 62.
And with 107 hit points and low defense, pretty tough to squeak out a double attack, but I think he's going to need one. It's possible.
He's got
It's just pretty rare.
Now, man. Low rolls now. 70. 79.
Oh, because it's 31 instead of 33, he's down to 3 heal mores, and now he's down to 2.
I think that was 92. And now 101.
So now we're in range for hurt more. Otherwise, he's got about 3 attacks left.
112.
I don't think he can get there. I definitely don't think he can get there. He's gonna have 1 hurt more in his arsenal right now if he wants to do it.
123.
If he's keeping count, he knows he can't get there. And he does, go for it. Oh, and it misses.
The Hail Mary did not pan out.
One of these times that's gonna land for somebody.
That second stop spell cost him there, I think. He was at 123, would have had an attack. Would have had 2 more attacks, so he would have.
Yeah,
even
still
then,
probably short, but it was close. Yeah, it's just not the level. It's just you're 1 turn short, really. I mean, a lot of things would have to go well. Remember, also he was unable to get through DL1, so he lost a turn in the beginning, and that's one of the downsides of having the low defense power with just the small shield as well. So he was unable to save an extra turn at the beginning of the fight. So you put all that together and maybe there's a chance to get to 150. But
yeah.
So now the decision is, do you go for another level or do you just go rediving right away? And it looks like he's decided to go get the next level.
Oh yeah, so this is with how.
But look what happened in that amount of time. BGT just gained 2,000 experience while he gained none.
Right.
So it doesn't take too many failed dives for your opponent to make a comeback on you. I'm not totally sure what BGT's up to. Is he trying to make his way back to Hawksness? Because he's found a stone man out in the overworld. I would think he would still be on the Hawksness grind. Maybe he just healed up. But Captain Green is back to the Axe Knight hunting. It's got to get to 12,000 experience for level 17, which surely that's got to be the level, right?
One would hope. Now, you'll see here, BGT's from level 14. He has the same attack power. So while you were out, the next two levels that BGT is going to come up on are both MTI strength.
Yeah, that's interesting. So maybe he has grand designs of picking up a level on the way down right now, getting a nice power boost, which we know he's not going to get. So, because I feel like he's rounding up the quest items, he's halfway to level 15. Maybe he's going in now.
Yeah, I don't know necessarily what he's thinking here at this point.
I mean, it's not that bad of a gamble if he were to get 8 or 10 power on the way down. You know, 72 MP it would be enough at that point, but unfortunately there's no power coming anytime soon.
And now Captain Green's putting his lead back up to where it was. So we're about, what? We're about like 7, 8 Axe Knights away from 120, or not 120, but 12,000.
Yeah, seems like it's just slightly out of reach with the amount of MP he has left, and he just missed. Oh no, okay, he got that one, good. But I don't know if he's going to get there on this MP here, or if he's going to have to heal and come back. And BGT has given up the Axe Knight grind. He's going to be grinding on the first floor of Sharlock. I'm not so sure about this move. Maybe he just wants to be that much closer to the dive. If and when he gets 15 right now, he can like make a decision on whether or not to just go in if he gets the power. But that Axe Knight grind in Hawksness is really efficient.
And I think at the power that Captain Green and BentGlassTube are at here, they could be just physical attacking the Axe Knight and probably getting him with 2 attacks most of the time, and just heal mooring to conserve MP.
Yeah, it would be an interesting play. I think you would have to... You probably would get a few more battles in without having to heal up, but each battle would take a little bit longer. Right now he's got no magic left, but if he gets this one, he's going to get the level. So well done by Captain Green. We're going to see what it is. Well, it's pretty borderline. I don't know. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to go with 19 more power.
That's
and a whole lot more hit points.
You know,
that's close. It's close. He's continuing to fight the Axe Knight. I don't know. Takes a death. He'll find himself back at Tenteagle Castle. And might want to take a shot at the Dragon Lord.
He might want to punch everything in the mouth that he comes across on his way down just for good measure.
Just for revenge.
Gonna load up his herbs first, which is still a good call. Nothing's guaranteed on your dives.
Alright, I have determined that my chat has completely malfunctioned on me, so hopefully if I reload it, it'll work out nicely. So Captain Green stopping off to get some herbs for the trip. It's always a good thing to be able to save a little bit of magic by using herbs instead.
Yeah, so he's going to be averaging, what is that, 25, so 12, 25, so what, 18 and a half? So he needs 10 attacks, but if something weird happens with those armored knights having sleep, he might have to burn a few heal mores, so it's good to have those herbs in the bag.
Yeah, I think he needs less than 10 attacks if he's hitting that hard. On average.
9.
So, yeah, I
at
mean,
most.
he's got tons of extra MP, and the dive wasn't even that hard for him last time. He's got 2 additional agility points for whatever that's worth. He's got very strong ability right now to run away from every monster. So, heavily favored to succeed on this dive. Barring any sort of mistake. And BGT got the bad news about the level up, got no power. He's on 15 now, he's back at Tanteagle. So now he has a decision to make.
I can't remember. I think 15 was the one. 15 had heal more.
Now, was the swamp cave in the basement here? Is he going to check the spike tile in the swamp cave? Maybe just buying some keys for right now.
We got Captain Green entering for round 2 with the Dragon Lord. So while we kind of watch this dive play out, see if he can avoid any landmines with the Armored Knights. Definitely want to throw a shout out to Reusation for putting on the restream on very short notice, fresh off of a tournament victory, minutes before he put the stream together. So thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like the restreamers are the heroes of this tournament so far because they're very few and far between, and we got so many races to cover. We've covered most of them with the help of just a few dedicated restreamers, so always appreciated.
Yeah, not fair at all that his race happened to be the one that was the odd man out, so hopefully we can get somebody put together a vodcast of that. But it has been overall just amazing to me with and it is just a few restreamers. I think less than 10 different restreamers we've probably had that put on the bulk of 60 some races. Yeah, it's fantastic, the work that these guys put in, so always put a follow into any of these restreamers.
Yeah, some good news is that the 5th round is extended to 2 weeks. I'm not sure if that's completely official, but it's looking that way. And that will help us to cover all the races, I think. We'll have the races a lot more spread out than they have been. And because, in round 5, almost all of the races are going to mean something significant for people, either trying to get into the brackets, get into the play-in races, fighting for first round buys. There's going to be a lot to be determined in round 5, so that'll be nice. We'll spread that out over 2 weeks, and we'll try and watch all the races.
Yeah, and then immediately after that, I think it's set in stone now. I think to confirm that we are spreading it to 2 weeks, and then that does mean that the play-in race, which I think at some point somebody mentioned that it would be 12 racers. I think mathematically that would wind up with the 2 and 3 record, probably plus or minus 1. But I'm gonna try to have a massive restream of that race when it happens, which is September 12th, if I'm not mistaken. So that's gonna be an amazing time. I'm hoping that everyone can get to that qualifies, and that we can get all the restreams going and get a massive battle royale going.
How many racers did you say are expected to be in that?
I want to say it was something like 12.
That's going to be just wild. And I think they'll be fighting for like 2 or 3 spots. So competition will be fierce on that race. That's going to be really cool if we can manage to cover that whole thing.
It could be longer than that, but maybe it was 8.
We got things to do before we get to that point. We have a Dragon Lord battle imminent.
Here we go.
Captaingreen7, he is about to be called a fool for the 2nd time. As long as he does remember to hold B and not A.
Here we go.
Don't hold A, guys.
Hell, aren't the fool.
Hold B.
That was quick. Quick work.
Yeah.
DL1.
A much more successful DL1 fight, full HP. And this should be no problem.
You almost made a triple out of that. Well, 52 already. And 68. Oh, 90. I think I missed one in there.
It's going to be more than enough. I think a couple of more attacks here is going to do it. He's got all sorts of extra magic here. So
Oh, there we go. Jeez. Just slaughtering. There we go. GG, Captain.
he has done it. Get your GGs out for Captaingreen7. He's going to return back to the castle, get the accolades. We'll get an official time here momentarily. And thus, the tale comes to an end. Good game, Captaingreen7.
Looks like an SRL time of 1:37:14.
Very nice. That is right around the average time for a seed so far in this tournament. This was, a nice regular old seed we had here tonight. Nothing too extreme in either direction.
Yeah, so let's see if we can get him into chat here to talk it over.
Yeah, I think he ran a nice race overall. There was some early exploration going on in the beginning. He found a couple of nice grind spots in those, levels 5, 6, 7 in there. Boosted him up. During that time, they had no means of healing beyond the early Erdrick's armor that they acquired. So got through those levels pretty efficiently. Managed to cover the map. Took a while to find those quest items because they just happened to not really be in the dungeons this time around. But nicely played overall.
Oh, I thought I'd kill it. Dodge my friend.
BGT, it seems like he's just had a little bit of indecision on how exactly he wants to grind. Because he was on the Axe Knight and then he was in Sharlock for a while. Done a couple of different ideas, but sure, he's hoping that 16 will be the level. Little does he know he's about to get a big goose egg once again for the power gain, but he's getting there.
Hey, there we go. It looks like we're going to have Captain Green joining us here in a moment.
All right, GG, Captaingreen7, if you can hear me.
Yes, I can. Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah, that was a nicely played race. It seemed like it was one of those average seeds. It wasn't like a death seed. It wasn't a sprint. You managed it pretty nicely there. What would you think about it?
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I thought I played more or less okay. I mean, the thing that scared me most was I could not find Garenham anywhere for a while there. That was the last place I needed to check for the Stones of Sunlight, I believe it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Axe Knight being in Hawksness was great, even though there wasn't really a town nearby. That's why I kept Death Warping out of there. I think that was an okay play, maybe. And then that first Dragon Lord dive, I don't know if that was the right call or not. I know it was a terrible... Like, I felt so bad when I used that second stop spell and realized I had just accidentally burned a heal more, because I dropped from like 89 to 87 MP or something like that. But
Yeah, I mean, that was a scary enemy, though. I can understand, you know, he has sleep all of a sudden, and you just want to get to the Dragon Lord fight.
yeah, that was the idea.
Yeah.
But as soon as I did, I was like, oh no, why did I? I should have just...
Yeah, you were so borderline on the stats. It was tough. I'm not sure if that extra heal more... I don't know if maybe it would have gotten you there. It was close.
I don't think so. I counted 109, if I was counting correctly, so that's why I went for the hurt more.
I think we might have counted one additional, maybe 125-ish, JJ. Is that right? I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
I don't know.
possible on this one.
Yeah, I think I had you at 123, but I could have been off 1 too. But even at that, I think, yeah, I don't know that another 28, because I think that's what you would add is 2 more attacks, even at high rolls.
Well, he didn't have the
Hard to
perfect
say.
DL1 fight either, so that, you know,
Right.
you never quite know how that's going to work out. So I think it was possible on that level. It's just really borderline. So it was, you know, it was good to see that you tried for it at that level. You know, it being a race, you try and take a risk. But
Yeah, it's one of those things where
once that failed, I you know, it was prudent to just go ahead and get the next level once that one failed. So that was a good decision.
Yeah, I was worried I might be behind at that point when I saw the like 22 strength increase. I'm like, oh crap, if BGT got that first, then I'm probably going to see a dot done pretty soon here. But yeah, it's one of those decisions where because it is a race, it's like I tried... This is actually my first tournament win, so I tried pushing as hard as I could at that level, but luckily it worked out.
Oh,
anyway.
congrats. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
know you participated in the Chaos Tournament. I remember that because I got to be a commentator on one of the most ridiculous seeds, I think, of all time that you
I kept you up
participated
there
in.
for 3.5 hours at least, I believe it was.
Yeah, I went to like level 24 or 25. It was just like, when is the sea going to end? It was, that was unbelievable. So, yeah, you've had some tournament experience, and congrats on your first victory. Another thing I kind of liked that you did, too, was early in the seed, you guys didn't have any healing beyond, you know, the Erdrick's armor. So exploration was a little bit tricky, and I think it looked like a couple of times you stopped in a little desert area and you found a couple of grind spots for like a 1 more level, you know. I think there was one with like a wolf and a demon knight was there too, but there were a couple of nice enemies that looked like you were finding. So
Yeah,
sometimes that's a good
wolf in
play if you just don't have any healing and you can't really get anywhere.
Yeah, it was the wolf and the Druid Lord.
That's what it was.
Very nice. And yeah, the demon knight, which I just had to run from, of course. But yeah, that's why I was also stocking up on herbs every chance I had, because I was just not seeing a heal spell at all.
Yeah, it seemed like that at that time, that was just about the best enemies that you guys were able to defeat. So it was nice that you recognized you found that zone, and you just, you know, you went at least 1 more level in that zone. I think you did it one other time as well. Because, yeah, if you don't have the heal more, or I don't even think you had heal for a while. So now you're just looking for herbs, and it can be tricky. So I thought that was well done. What else, JJ? What happened in the seed? I actually missed about 20 minutes of it because I had a Armageddon at my internet just blew up. But
the one question I did have: did we see a large shield anywhere? Because that was kind of weirding me out. Like I just did not find one, so I went small shield the whole way.
We didn't see one in chat, to my knowledge, unless I completely missed somebody saying it somewhere. Did not see one either, so I do believe that small shield was the best you could do. So thank God you had good agility.
Yeah, that was probably the only weird thing about the seed.
It makes it tough on that dive because now you're not really defense breaking anything. Your defense is even though you had the high agility, you're not you don't have the defense. So it's kind of unusual, I think, to be forced to go with a small shield, but Seemed like you managed it, and that was one of the factors that maybe made that level 16 a little bit borderline. But
we'll see what BGT does it. He just got to 16 here. We'll see what his decisions look like. I thought he was going to grind a little more at the start, so I'm not 100% sure what he's thinking here.
another question for you too is, I believe level 14, 15, and 16 all had the same attack power. You just got no power. And so you went to 15, decided that wasn't enough when you got no power, continued grinding, and then you got 16, which I believe was no power, maybe 3 MP, a few hit points, and you decide, well, that's enough, time to go. So like, what was the difference between 15 and 16? You just decided that was go time there.
I think there was a decent agility boost, if I recall, which made me feel a little more comfortable running from things. But other than that, yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, do I really want to, like, it's, what, like 2,250 to the next level? I'm like, I mean, the Hawksness grind was okay, but it wasn't as fast as it could be because there was no healing nearby. So I was just worried that if BGT was, like, keeping pace right with me, then I should just go for it.
Yeah, it's funny how that just creeps into your brain, being isolated and trying to think your way through where you think your opponent might be. It plays a lot into some of the decisions you make.
Yeah, if you had any delays along the way that you felt like slowed you down, like you mentioned that you had trouble finding Garenham for a long time. So when something like that happens, you're like, ooh, like, did I just lose 5 minutes compared to my opponent? And, you know, maybe I'm behind at this point because of that. And
right.
Yeah, that's one of the tricky things about racing, for sure.
I definitely did feel good at the beginning because I feel like I found Erdrick's sword pretty early.
Yeah, we can confirm that.
Okay.
Yeah, you definitely found it. I think BGT probably found the grave first, is that right? And the sword was in Mountain, which you found Mountain first, if I recall, and then grave afterwards.
I did. So. That reminds me. I did find grave first, but that I just got lost in there somehow. And by the time I used the torch, I was like, I had no idea where I was, and that's when I had to just use outside and just left.
Did you think you were in Mountain at the time, and that's why you took a wrong turn, or?
I can't remember where I thought it was, but by the time I realized, it was like, oh no, I'm just like bumping into everything, and I used the torch. It was just like a screen that I had no idea what I was looking at.
Yeah, I actually couldn't recognize it either. I saw the torch and a couple of bricks, and it's like, yeah, I don't know where it is either.
So check this out. So I think BGT, I don't know if he's doing it on purpose, but he hit up a middle slime, and he's at that perfect attack power where you're guaranteed to do 1 or 2 damage to it each turn.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, he just did take that one out. And just a few more points and you start one-shotting metal slimes, but yeah, not quite there yet.
But yeah, Captain, so we talked about kind of earlier on how you and BGT, while this is an 0-3 matchup, neither one of you had gotten very, very easy matchups coming in. And I know I personally was involved in your first week race against Tristal, and you really played a good seed that time, but he's just a really strong opponent, so I was really happy to see you get a win today.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I've had some really close matches too. Like Tristal, I think I was only 3 minutes behind. Then Z-Man, that was a great match. So I watched that VOD back because I was like 14 seconds behind him or something crazy like that. So that was pretty insane.
I think that's easily still the closest match of the tournament. Was that one part of that quad, I believe, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And this keeps you alive for that play-in race coming up for all the 2 and 3s, and that is going to be a spectacle to behold. So being able to participate in that would be a lot of fun, I think. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, coming into this tournament, like, I know how talented the field is and how strong everyone is. So that was actually my goal, was just to try and make the play-in race. I'd be so happy with that. So luckily, I'm still alive for that.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun for everyone involved. I think what were we saying, JJ? Maybe 12 people might be in that race at the same time, looking for like a few spots. That's going to be awesome.
I'm starting to second guess that. I'm trying to remember, because I guess I don't know how it pans out. Now that I'm trying.
Well, I would think, most people would end up at 3 and 2 or 2 and 3, just kind of the way. Yeah, it's probably like a bell curve, you know.
Right.
And so you'll have a lot of 3 and 2s and 2 and 3s by the end, I guess.
Yeah, because I think it's roughly 8 or so will have buys. And then I believe it would be another 12 or somewhere in there to get you to 20. I think that's about right. I think it's about 12 will be 3 and 2, and about 12 will be 2 and 3. You know, plus or minus, because there's some crossover matchups. But yeah, hopefully, hopefully Captain Green, we're seeing you in that play-on race.
You know, I'm not sure if I saw BGT use a torch this entire race. He's just continuing to go in the dark here. Pretty sure he's in Sharlock. Just that is a tough navigate going through Sharlock in the dark, but he's going for it.
Yeah, there's a lot of bonking if you do that, at least for me.
Oh yeah, and that one floor that looks like a giant circle, that's like designed like to mess you up if you have no torch. Like you just hit dead ends, you don't know what's going on in that floor.
Yeah, I don't know how those vanilla runners, man, like Weejawee and Nest Cardinality, that's got to be like a glass ceiling you got to bust through with that floor trying to do that blind.
Yeah, chat mentioning another difficult one to navigate is the tablet cave. That is for sure.
I won't even try it. I've never tried it once, and I won't.
That is just, yeah, that's a reset waiting to happen because you can't get out unless you have outside, I suppose. So, yep, that's a tricky one. And yeah, so BGT seems to be fighting some enemies on the way, which is interesting because he only has 80 defense power, so not defense breaking these enemies, but he still has managed to hold on to all 91 MP. And he's like, I think 1 kill away now from 17, yeah. So a nice job on this dive, actually.
Yeah, that's awesome. If he gets down there with full MP and level 17, he should have it.
Yeah, because fighting your way, you're taking, even if you find the weaker enemies like werewolves, they're still going to be hitting you for 15 to 20 damage. So it's tough to really make progress. But I'm pretty sure he's 1 fight away, and he's on he's on the second to last floor now. The Axe Knight. It's not going to quite do it for him, so he runs away. I think he's like 1 blue dragon away. And second to last floor now, so good progress. Still has all his MP. It's 16, it's borderline, but if he can manage to bump up to 17, he'll get that nice boost. He doesn't know that, of course, but he'll have all sorts of extra MP in reserve if he can get one more blue dragon kill or 2 more green dragon kills or something to that effect.
He may not know it. I can't remember I don't think he's been down this far before or anything, but he's going to kill that armored knight and have it. He'll be fine with that.
Yes, I hope he kills it, because that is not a sure thing on that particular enemy.
So, I did have a question for you, Captain Green, before we get into the Dragon Lord fight here. So getting the armor that early, how did you kind of negotiate? Because that can give you kind of a false bravado of running around with that and still getting kind of pancaked early. So how did you kind of navigate that layer of decision making?
The decision was kind of made for me because I think Knight killed me pretty early on in Blue Dragon. Like there were some pretty dangerous zones like right outside the castle. So that's actually when you saw me find that little desert patch with the Druid Lords and the Wolves. So any bravado I might have had, the Knights and the Blue Dragons beat it out of me pretty quickly.
So BGT just made that Armored Knight fight look super easy. I don't know what I blinked and I missed it, and he's through with his full resources. I don't know if he just landed a crit or what, but now he's heal walking his way, and he's got all sorts of extra power here.
Man.
And just runs into an Armored Knight while trying to heal walk. You do not need to be heal walking here. Just
no good.
Use the heal more and just be done with it.
He might not even realize they have sleep yet, does he? Like,
I don't think so.
That could completely destroy this.
He's got herbs too. Without the heal walk is like, it's hurting me right now. I'm just fighting. I don't want anything bad to happen to him.
Only because it's no longer borderline. You got to realize if you were at a borderline level and you get 19 power, you are way overpowered. You don't need hardly any heal mores, so
Just do it.
yeah, you can just burn it right now. It's no
right
problem.
now. Turn no.
Yeah, I'm probably a little delayed. I'm watching on the restream, but these armored knights are scaring me.
Fortunately, you guys have really good agility, so he is managing to run away from most of these enemies. He probably will eventually get the seal walk. Well, now he uses an herb, so we're good to go.
Good enough. Get her done there.
I'm rooting for BGT on this. Let's get a sub 2 hour here. And if he can two-shot, no, unable to two-shot, so he may not have the perfect deal one fight. He's going to try, though, with the herbs. He's getting the hurt more spam, unfortunately. Well, he gets a physical, which is good enough because they have the high... Well, they don't have the high defense power. It was a low physical, though. So it worked out. Triple-digit HP, heading into deal 2.
There's a good 23 in there.
But yeah, if he was still at 16, this would be dicey. But he managed to fight his way down. He picked off just enough enemies. So now he's doing some really good damage here.
Everything's going pretty smooth here. Just get the inputs in and get her done.
I'm still hearing overworld music on in my ears, but that could be that my setup's just all messed up.
We'd probably have something piping through. There we go, GG to BGT.
Oh, that's what it was, Ryu? That was just part of the music, the background music. Very nice. So GG, if he makes this dash really quickly, he's going to sub 2 hour this bad boy. By a good margin, in fact. Get an official time in a moment.
Here we go, official SRL time of 1:57:31.
Good game to BentGlassTube. Guess we could extend a quick invite for him as well. I'm not sure if he'll actually take us up on it or not.
Says he's got some other things to get along to, which I can understand after about a 2-hour seed.
Yeah, to me, 2 hours is just about the limit for this game before it starts to become a little bit just frustrating. The creator McGrew has done a nice job of sort of making the vanilla game go much faster than it used to, you know, back when you played back in the day. And an hour to an hour and a half is just right in the comfortable wheelhouse. You went just over an hour and a half today, Captain Green, and you were victorious.
Yeah. I mean, like I said before, pretty straightforward seed, I think. And, I guess the only last thing I will say is thank you both JJ and Up2NG for the commentary. I know it was kind of last minute. And thank you absolutely to Ryu for putting on the restream, because I know he had a race just before this one and took this one last minute as well. So very much appreciated for that.
Cool. Yeah, it's always fun to do. I enjoy this whole tournament and the community, everything. I'm glad everybody's pitching in. It's been fun.
Yeah, absolutely, and thanks for all the added streams that you've done. I believe you've been a restreamer a few times, so thank you very much. But yeah, well, I think we're gonna wrap things up here. But let's see if we've got anything we're going to kick this to. I think we've got either a practice race or something going on, or just some practice of one of the tournament entries that we're going to kick this off to on Lord of the Synths channel. But we've got a lot of races coming up tomorrow, I believe, at least I think 3 or 4. So keep an eye out in Discord if you're on there. Keep an eye out on your Randomania schedules for all the races. Check out we've got the Zelda 1 tournament races going on too, and Zelda 2 tournament races going on other channels. So it is the time to be a randomizer fan right now. Got a lot of action everywhere. But any last thoughts from you up to?
No, I think that about sums it up for me. It's a fun race to watch, and looking forward to more.
All right, well, everybody, we will see you later, and let's kick it on over to Lord of the Synth and watch a little practice for some of these upcoming races coming up this week. Have a good one, guys. We'll see you around.